Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry, I had to pee right before this. So I was like, shit, okay, I'm gonna go pee real quick. So, how are you? I am like trying to multitask, which isn't ever good, but I was just trying to look at stuff. Hey, what's up, Cheyenne? Shania. Why did I call you Cheyenne? I know your name's not Cheyenne. Shania. I am just all over the place today. Sorry. I'm trying to. I don't know why I just called you that. Hey, what's up, Sophia? You know I know your name too. I don't even know why I said it. My leg stings like hell. You know what? My knee has been hurting lately, and I'm like, geez. I'm getting old. Goodness. I am done with Stranger Things. It was so good. It was so good. I loved it. I don't even know why I'm looking at this right now because it's probably not going to be available by the time I'm going to be looking. Hey, what's up, Mikey? Mine only hurts because I got my new tattoo today. Ooh. What'd you get again? I don't remember. We get ours next Thursday. I just want to talk about Sadie Sink in season 4 of Stranger Things. Awesome, yeah. She was awesome. She was great. Do I have eyeliner on my eyelids again? I feel like that only happens, like... Maybe it happens more and I just never really stare at myself. Season 4 felt like a carbon copy of Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know if I've actually seen that. That wouldn't make... I don't know. I thought it was amazing, though. So, I have been looking... I've been looking at Jeeps because I had a Jeep when... It was actually the first car I bought. By myself. I was 18 or 19. Was I 18? I was either 18 or 19. I don't remember. Well, it was 2015, so was the make. So I think I was 19 years old. I bought the Jeep brand new. And I loved it. I did so many things to it. But at the time, I drove like all over the state all the time. And I was like, it was killing me. And then it ended up like the Jeep had issues with it, like electrical and engine issues. So then like I always had to like take it to the shop or whatever. And it was brand new. So I was the first owner or whatever. And I was 19 years old. I'm like, I can't deal with this right now. Like I'm still in school. Like I've got all this shit going on. And I drive all over the state. So I was like, well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to trade it in. When I traded it in, I like cried. And ever since then, so almost 10 years now, I have been wanting to get a Jeep again. And it's a really good time for me right now because I work from home. I never drive unless it's around town or to a doctor's appointment or something. So I'm like, hoping that... And I want an old one too. I don't want a brand new one. I want an older one because I want to do a bunch of shit to it. And I want to take it trailing. I want to get a manual because I want to learn how to drive stick. And, I want to do a bunch of shit to it. And I want to trade in my car. So I'm like, I've been looking at Jeeps, but I don't want to pay for a Jeep yet until at the earliest next month or the month after, so that I can save up enough for like however much I want as a down payment. So I'm like trying. I have like a couple of them picked out that I really like, that I'm interested in, but then I'm like, damn it, they're probably not even going to be available by the time I'm actually like ready. But anyway, that's what I have kind of, I've been, like I said, I've been wanting the Jeep for like 10 years. Well, really more than 10 years, because I had a Jeep, but I wanted a Jeep again. But we'll see. And there's only like so much money I want to spend, because I want an older one, and we're like starting to have like a baby, and so like I don't want to buy something super brand new and spend like $40,000. But anywho, I got two hands reaching for each other. Huh? Is it like the God in the in man, God and man, or is it something different? Hey, what's up, Jose? I haven't seen you in a little bit. Hey, Francesca. How are you? How did the thing with your dad go? It was very weird. Very weird. The first night, so he like came in Friday, and I'm glad that we decided this. Oh, hold on, let me check on something real quick. Hold on. Oh, perfect. That went through. Hopefully I did that in time, but we'll see. Hurry up. Okay, good. That went through. Ooh, 428. Anyway, so let me get back. He came in Friday, and Friday night, I'll try to make this like super quick, but Friday night we went to dinner, which I'm so glad I decided to just do like a dinner, because when you haven't seen your father in like 14 years, and pretty much haven't spoken to him since then, it's kind of weird to kind of all of a sudden do like a massive thing or spend the whole day together. So I was like, well, let's just do dinner first and then just kind of go from there. So we did dinner. It was only an hour. And when we got there, I told Anna, like, before he arrived, I'm like, I am scared shitless right now. Like, like, my anxiety is crazy, haywire, super nervous. So I had a beer. One beer turned into two, and then our friend waitress came over and brought me a shot. So then I had a shot, and I handed the keys over to Anna, and I'm like, there you go. But, and I'm not a super lightweight, but, like, I didn't even really get buzzed either, but I just felt like I got the edge taken off for sure. So, we did that, and then just the rest of the time, we just, like, we only hung out, like, a couple hours each day, because I'm like, more than that was gonna... No, it was going to be way too much. But it was still super weird. It's a weird feeling. I mean, I'm in the long run, I think I'm kind of glad that we did it, because, like, I learned more stuff about my stuff and, like, where I get certain things from that I don't get from my mother. And so that was cool to kind of see that, I guess. But it was definitely weird. So there was a lot of drinking involved over the weekend. I love how they used Kate Bush running up that hill, and as you know, is British and comes from County of Kent, where I'm from. I love that song. That's an amazing song. I want to like buy that song now. It was so good. I actually hear Kate Bush is running up that hill at my job every weekend. Do you really? I have heard it like a couple of times, but never... like a lot or anything. Never had a car or drive until I was 22. In the farm, we had motorbikes growing up. I want to learn how to ride a motorcycle. Anna has her motorcycle license, but I don't, and I don't know how to drive one. I attempted to drive a dirt bike when I was a kid, and I was like 9 or 10, and I ran into a fence. So, um, yeah. One day, but not like soon, because we're trying to have a baby, so can't really do that. Have you finished all the episodes? I just don't want to accidentally spoil. Yes, I'm completely done. I finished it Monday afternoon. Yeah, I try for the most part to get shows done before I stream, just in case if like something happens. But it just depends on how my schedule is or whatever. But yeah, I finished it Monday. And oh my god, episode 7. I'm like, the whole time I'm doing this number and I'm like, what the F? But I was like, it's so fucking awesome. Like the whole episode tied in. I won't give any spoilers just in case anyone else hasn't seen it, but the episode 7 ties in the whole fucking series. And I'm like, holy shit. Holy shit. And then now I'm like, okay, now I understand why they split it into 2 parts. Or at least maybe not why they split it into 2 parts, but like why they decided to do 7 and 2 versus like a 5 and 4 or like any other type of situation. But anyway, it's funny about the car situation. I my current car, because my last job I was driving like all over Florida. So I have a hybrid, and now I don't drive, and I'm like, my car is really expensive because I bought it brand new. It was a 2020 when I bought it, and I mean, we're paying an arm and a leg for this car, and we don't ever hardly freaking use it. And so I'm like, you know what? And I think Anna and I were talking, and because I've been mentioning all the time, and I'm like, I want a Jeep so bad. But like, I'm like, I understand. Like, I'm like, I don't want to get an additional vehicle or whatever. But we've been talking, and I'm like, and I was like, you might as well just trade the car in. You don't ever freaking use it anyway. So I'm like, oh, that's true. So I want it. I just have to be smart financially about it. So we'll see. Hopefully in the next month or 2. Did you know that Victor Creel was actually played by Robert Englund? Yes, but not until after the fact. Like, I recently found that out, like, yesterday or something. Yesterday or, like, right after I'd finished it. Stranger Things 4 is amazing. I love how it's a cross between A Nightmare on Elm Street and Hellraiser. And episode 4, I'm still shaking. Episode 4 and episode 7 are hands down the best episodes of the show, of the entire show. Episode 4 and episode 7 of season 4 are one of the 2 best episodes of the entire show, and I can't think of an episode that competes with it. And I recently watched the other seasons. So I just can't. Both of those episodes are just so damn good. And honestly, and I like say in my reaction, I'm like, you know what? This episode because it makes the entire show. I'm like, I think Stranger Things is like in my top 5 favorite shows now. Because of episode 7, because it tied in everything together, and I'm like, holy shit, holy fuck. It was just so fucking crazy. Which Stranger Things character do you think had the best character development? Ooh, that's a good question. All of the original cast, I should say. I think all, if not most of the characters have some sort of character development, but all of the characters from the very beginning, from season 1, I feel like all have major character development, but the one that has the most, I mean, Steve for sure, Elle for sure, I might have to say L. Steve is up there, but I feel like it would have to be L. Max is pretty up there too, but technically Max wasn't in season 1. I mean, not that that really matters, but it kind of does in my brain. I'd have to say L. I'd have to say L is the one that went through she had the best character development. You might as well just buy the hit album Hounds of Love. It is in the 1001 of the best albums you should hear before you die. I'll have to check out the other songs. If they're anything like this one, then it's good. I think it's between L and Max on who had the best character development. Yeah, it's funny. That's kind of what I said. If we're not talking about the absolute like original characters, then yeah, I would say Max has had quite a bit of character development. But I think for me, it's got to be L. And I think they kind of do that on purpose. But yeah. Who are your top favorite characters in Stranger Things? That's like, I wouldn't say that's all the characters, because it's not, because especially we got introduced to quite a bit of new characters in this season. Favorite characters? Sorry, excuse me. Steve is probably my favorite, and it's so funny. Steve, I really like Robin. It's funny because I really like Argyle too. He cracks me up. Steve, Robin, Argyle. And it's funny, he's a brand new character. Usually I don't get attached to new characters like that. Murray and Joyce. Is that 5? Steve. Wait, who did I say? Steve, Robin. Fuck. Who did I say? Steve, Robin, Joyce, Murray, Argyle. That's 5. I like a lot of other characters though too. Like I really do, but like I don't. For me, Argyle, like I love the character because he's so funny, but other than that, he doesn't have like a whole lot going for him right now, so it's kind of hard for me to put him in top 5, but he just cracks me up. After I was kicked out and lived with my grandparents after years of not talking to my mom and dad, it was super weird. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't, like, I feel for other people who go through the same thing that I went through. And I feel like quite a bit of people probably go through the same thing, and it's shitty and it sucks. And it is so fucking weird. It is just so, I can't describe it other than that. Because it's, like, it's somebody that you're supposed to know and have one of the strongest connections with is one of your parents. And when they have at one point chosen something else over you, and I'm his only child, when they do that, like in your brain, that connection is gone. And then that person, after like almost no communication for 14 years, comes back and you're like face to face with them. It is very, very weird. It is a very weird feeling. It's something that I've never felt like before. And that's all I can describe it as. They did not even go to the wedding after my first girl was born, start having a relationship, but it was weird for a long time. Yeah, I'm sorry. My dad, he didn't, because it was 14 years, he didn't go to my wedding, he didn't go to my high school graduation, he didn't go to any major life event of mine at all. Because I was 14 years old whenever the last time I saw him. Actually, it might have been 13. I don't know. It was 14, 15 years. That is half of my life that I don't know this one person. And even before then, I only ever saw him maybe once a year. maybe. So the relationship wasn't strong to begin with, but I don't know. You should know Hounds of Love, Ben, and other I can't quit yawning. I'm so sorry. I think reading makes me yawn. I think that's what it is. I've discovered reading makes me yawn. Because if I'm reacting, I don't hardly ever yawn. Like, geez. You should know Hounds of Love, Ben, and other American films and TV shows like The Handmaid's Tale, etc. I still have not seen that. They are great grandparents, but we don't talk deep stuff. It's all shallow things and talk about the kids. I get you. With my grandparents, well, my grandparents on my dad's side, I don't talk to. Well, my grandfather on that side is dead. But my grandma I don't talk to. Because she lives with my dad, so then it's like a whole thing. And then my grandma on my mom's side, we're having to rebuild our relationship. Our relationship was very, very strong as I grew up, but pretty much right as soon as I told her that I was gay and that I had proposed to Anna and like blah, 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 she freaked out. So our relationship has not been super strong, but she freaked out in that moment. And then it was like maybe a year-ish later, then she kind of started like getting okay with it because the church said it was okay at that point. So she, in her mind, has come to terms with the fact that I'm going to hell. And I'm like, okay, cool. So she's upset that it doesn't bother me, but I'm like, well, I don't even know if hell exists, but if it does, then like, I don't know. Like if I'm going to hell because I'm gay, then all right. Like I'm not gonna sit here and be miserable my whole life, like wondering if I'm gonna go to hell because of how I want to live my life. But that's all right. But anyway, according to her, like people with tattoos, people who drink, like because she's Mormon, so tattoos. If I drink coffee, alcohol, being gay. How many is that for? And then what else? What else do they not approve of? I mean, sweet tea. But do I put sweet tea in with coffee? Maybe. I might categorize sweet tea in with coffee. Well, I mean, technically, if we're counting each and everything that could send me to hell, I'll count sweet tea as its own thing. So far that I can remember, I'm going to hell 5 times over anyway. I'm doomed. Because I do all of those things. But I think shortly after I had proposed to Anna, the Mormon church ended up doing something for Pride Month. Like they actually participated in Pride Month or something. And then my grandma was like, oh, okay. If the church says it's okay. But that's my life. Oh, I got a piece of hair. Do you hate getting that? That drives me bonkers. I guess people with long hair, like you know how I feel. I can feel it, but I can't see it. I wish we could say all the stuff, but my mom is Russian Christian, so she's a wall. I'm sorry. Yeah, my grandma is I guess they're technically German. Well, no, because her husband's German. She's not German. She is, I think they're English. Like our ancestors are English. But, I'm trying to think what else we are. On my mom's side, anyway. But she's, she's Mormon. So that was lovely. And the song Cloud Busting been in many American TV shows and films, and also shown in TV documentaries, which I have seen. When on holiday in the US, and Hounds of Love was a hit album in US. Also song Lyra. She does from the Golden Compass film is a fave. I think I've listened to a lot of stuff from her. I just don't I don't remember at the top of my head. My dad is Christian Opus D. I don't know what that means. To the core, so no talk, just pray the gay. Yeah. I went to I've never been super religious. My mom isn't super religious. My parents aren't super religious. But my mom and I, when we were growing up, were raised Mormon. Because anytime, like during the summertime, when my mom would like send me to my grandma's, and so like when I was little and like couldn't like needed to either have a babysitter or like I just couldn't stay home alone or whatever, so she took me to church. And so she took me to church like at least once a week, if not more than once a week. My mom had to go like every single day, multiple times a day. But as a kid, and I'm telling you, I was like, I don't know, like 7, 8, 9. I mean, I went every year up until I was like 14, because that's when I got a job, and then I didn't go there for summer times anymore. But for like every year up until I was like 12, she took me to the Mormon church. And for a while, she put me in the kids' room, and whenever they would have their mass or whatever, I don't know if that's what they call it for Mormons, but anyway, so I went into the kids' room, and they would tell these stories of like from the Bible and from the Book of Mormon, and so they would tell these stories, and I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't make sense. And I was like super young, and I was like, but why? And so they would say something, and I'm like, yeah, but, and I said, but then doesn't that mean that the boogeyman's real? Or doesn't that mean, like, by your standards, doesn't that mean that something else, like, this is real, and it'd be something not, completely not real or something, you know? And so I got in trouble. The teacher told, because I guess whenever I was asking those questions, it made the other kids be like, oh yeah, why is that? And so, like, I was this little like influencer in the class, and so the teacher told my grandma, and they were like, so she can't be in the class anymore because she is influencing others to not have faith. And so my grandma's like, shit, okay, well, so I just ended up having to stay with her the rest of the time. But it was funny, my mom was like, I did the same thing. So, yeah. I don't know. I find religion very, very fascinating, for sure. I'm not a very super religious person. I don't dedicate my own life to a religion. But I can see why other people would. And I find them fascinating. I love to learn about religion, but it's funny because I was watching an episode of Stranger Things. I was actually editing the episode before streaming, and I had made a comment, and I'm like, I ended up deleting it out of the edited version because I'm like, this probably might piss people off. But I said in there, and I'm like, and I didn't mean it in a bad way, but I'm like, I could see how it would turn into a bad thing, like, or whatever. But I said, it was right when Jason was like basically preaching to the town, and I'm like, why does everything have to come back to religion? And I'm like, good or bad, why? I don't understand it. And that's something I never really understood. Like, I love learning about religion, but I never understood why the world is so attached to religion, and like it runs on religion, and I don't get that. But I don't know. I guess because maybe it's a deterrent. I was probably the most popular deterrent, but I don't know. So I ended up deleting that comment out of there because I was like, people might get mad at me if I kept that in there because they probably think it was like I was just trashing on religion. But I'm like, I was genuinely asking, but then I'm like, nah, that's okay. I really wish we could talk someday, like deep stuff, but they were really great grandparents. Yeah, I understand. I understand that feeling. This is arguably the best season of Stranger Things. Oh, for sure. For sure. I totally think it was worth, well, I can't say it was worth the wait because I didn't wait. So, but I do think it was the best season. For sure. Went to spiritual retreat camps. I've been to a couple of different camps, but luckily none of them were like religious in any way. At least not that I was aware of. I'm not religious, but religion is interesting. Oh yeah, for sure. I think all religion is interesting. But for me, the way that my brain analyzes religion is I think it's fiction. The 80s was a satanic panic era where anything bad that happens was attributed to Satan, basically. I get that, but it's still kind of that way today. Maybe not like satanic per se, but a lot of things are still revolved around religion. And this woman's work by Kate B used a lot of films / TV shows / adverts, or you say commercials. By the way, my girlfriend and I are going to London to see Back to the Future musical this Sunday. Been waiting over 2 years. I love those movies. I love the Back to the Future movies. I've seen them so many times. So many times. I've rewatched them just so many times. I think my favorite one, I don't know if I have a favorite one because they're all the first one and the second one are very similar, but and the third one is completely opposite. I think the most hated one is the third one because it's just kind of like super weird, but my favorite one would either have to be the first one or the third one. Probably the first one. I think the first one's probably my favorite. The third one is definitely just like really different, but I like it. I was scared season 4 was going to be bad because normally when a show has multiple seasons, it lowers in quality. I was afraid that our expectations were going to be too high for it. I didn't necessarily, because I don't necessarily think that multiple seasons means that it lowers in, like, each season lowers in quality. My thing about multiple seasons in a show is the writers. I just want to make sure the writers aren't recycling content. A lot of shows that start to like go down in viewership and like just tank in qualities because it recycles the same content. Like they're not sure on what to do with the show. So they were like, oh, well, we did this one thing one time and it worked really well, so we'll just do it again, but we'll like change up a couple of little things. Prime example of that is Once Upon a Time. I love this show, but it should have ended after season 3. Or the writer should have came up with something else other than the same fucking storyline all over again. They use the same storyline like 3 times. I watched the full season, or the full show of Once Upon a Time, but they definitely recycled content and it drove me nuts. True, as long as the writers are good, this show should be sustainable. Definitely, it's all, sadly, and it's all on the writers' shoulders. Because I can about tell you, like, if you name a show, at least if I've seen it, I can tell you where it started to drift off, and that's usually because the writers are recycling content, or the writers aren't really sure on what to do with the show, and you can totally tell when writers aren't sure on what to do with the show, because the whole base of how everything is built off of in those shows is the writing. It's everything. The writing is everything. And if you don't have the good storyline, or like good things that have happened, or like if you don't have good writers, if you don't have the good writing, then you can tell. Viewers can definitely tell. I mean, I'm telling you right now, in the show Legacies, the writing has started to go down. Really, the first 2 seasons were very, very good, but it kind of like drifted off after that because they kept using the same villain. They weren't really sure on what to do after that, and then finally they changed the villain into Hope, and then it just kind of like, and you're like, ooh, oh my god, that's so different. Like, oh my gosh. So then it like spiked your interest again. But then now, since she's not the villain, now we're like, oh shit, well, like, what are we doing now? You know, and I think they just need to figure out what to do, and they should figure out what to do, like, before, like, the actual show, the production of it all. I like how this season we actually have a somewhat real person as a villain this season. Yeah, I like that. The Flash does the same thing every season. I'll tell you, a lot of the superhero shows and movies do that same exact thing, which is why I don't really watch a lot of superhero shows and movies. The only one that's different with that I've noticed is anything that's super dark. So Venom, I compare Venom to everything. Venom, because he's not a typical superhero because he's super dark. But also The Boys. The show The Boys, they're superheroes, but the show is as if superheroes were real. This is how we would actually treat them. We would treat them like celebrities, and they would not be good people, or at least some of them wouldn't be good people. They're people that would make mistakes. They're not perfect, and like, so it's very much different. So, but most superhero shows and movies are the same thing. It's your superhero has a supervillain, and they have to have some sort of event that makes them be able to defeat their villain. That's every superhero show and movie, and that's because that's the basis that they have to work off of. But the thing is like, a lot of times that means recycled content. It's like, oh, well, Superman did this, so maybe we can have Batman kind of do the same thing, but with Batman's like stuff instead of like Superman's abilities. We'll just have Batman do this and go through like this kind of thing, you know? But like, yeah, that's my thing with superhero shows and movies. It also helps that Stranger Things have a huge world to build off of. Oh yeah, agree. Yellow Jackets has amazing writers. I mean, the writing, like I said, it's everything. If you don't have good writers, the viewers, sometimes when shows when production companies come out with shows, like, I don't know if they think that viewers are just dumb and they think that, like, we'll just go along with whatever. But viewers, especially people who watch TV a lot, like myself, know what good writing looks like. We know what good writing looks like. And so whenever they have a show that has shitty writing, viewers can tell for sure. And I mean, that's why some shows get canceled, because it's like, oh, well, we thought this was going to work or whatever. And it doesn't mainly because of the writing. A lot of shows are like that. Some shows aren't. Like, some shows are just poorly produced or have terrible acting. Like, there's a couple of other shows that, of course, there's exceptions to the rule, but a lot of shows are based off of, like, when shows get canceled, it's a lot of times based off of like, not good writing. Let's not talk about how terrible the last season of Killing Eve, the writing was terrible. You can't get better than season 1 of Killing Eve. I'm sorry. Each season after season 1 just kind of went down and down. Like, season 1 was the best. Have you ever seen The Umbrella Academy? Yes, I'm pretty much caught up except for the very last, season 2's finale. I didn't actually, I haven't watched it yet. I need to refresh myself on season 2 and then actually watch the finale. I'm planning on reacting to the 3rd season that's coming out, but I need to actually watch the finale of season 2. Because, as I was saying with recycled content, Umbrella Academy did the same exact thing as season 1. Season 2 is the same exact thing as season 1. As in, their whole event that they had to go through. How they went back in time. The Boys is a really good show. Oh, yeah. For sure. Well, so excited for the 5th and final season, even more so for the spinoffs. Are you talking about Stranger Things? I swear to God, they better have fucking spinoffs. I will lose my shit. I will lose my shit if we do have spinoffs, and I will lose my shit if we don't. I would just lose my shit in a good way compared to a bad way. But, Stranger Things. Stranger Things is the perfect combination of amazing writing, the Duffer Brothers with their directing, and their creation. I mean, they created Stranger Things. So, the directing and the creation, and the way they're produced and the acting is phenomenal. Everything about Stranger Things is 110% of, every piece of, what makes a show. Writing, production, directing, creation, everything. Acting, everything. Stranger Things, I could see it being, one of the best shows of all time. It's up there with Breaking Bad. I haven't watched Breaking Bad, so I feel like I shouldn't compare it to Breaking Bad because I haven't seen it, but I just know that Breaking Bad is, supposed to be one of the best shows ever. I was so happy when they showed the Omega 1000 PC my dad still has and still works from July of 1985. Holy shit. That computer was old. That was funny. I really like Orphan Black because it was a well done entire storyline arc. Also, Dairy Girls, Winona Earp. Amazing writing. Winona Earp is one of those weird exceptions to the rule because their writing was phenomenal. I just think they had other issues. Each season kind of had their other issues with each season. Season 1, I felt like they didn't know what to take this show in, what type of direction. Because if you rewatch Winona Earp, if you've watched it and then you rewatch it, it's crazy the differences that you see. Because when I rewatched it, I'm like, holy shit, I didn't realize how dark it was. Because season 1 is crazy dark. And then, it kind of gets lighter and lighter. And it just kind of has each quirks and, weirdness. It's just, supernatural, whatever. But season 1 is dark. And then, so season 1 had, a darkness. I don't think it was ever because of I don't think it ever had bad acting in it. I think all of them were amazing actors. Well, I say that, but I don't feel like the girl who played Willa was really a good actress. That kind of made me cringe a little bit because of her acting, but it didn't ruin the show. That was in season 2, and but for the most part, the acting was amazing. The directing was really good, but I think with Winona Earp, it may have been with some of the production. Because the writing was there. And I felt like the directing was there. The directing was there for the most part. I felt like the directing maybe could have been better in some parts, but it's funny how Winona Earp is, it's funny how it got revived so many times because so many people loved it. Because Winona Earp just had something in there that no other show had. But Orphan Black is also another really good one. Orphan Black has amazing writing in it because, like, there's so many things, like, so many storylines off of the main storyline. And it's the character development within, the whole show is based off of character development. That's, like, the whole thing. And so it was just amazing. And the production and the writing, primarily, of Orphan Black was phenomenal. Loved Person of Interest, but I hated that they went killing the lesbian, but still an amazing show. I never did fully watch Person of Interest, but I've watched fandom videos, so I, like, knew what had happened. And I totally shipped them. But because I had watched so many fandom videos and I already knew what happened, I'm like, well, there's no point in actually watching it, but sometimes I kind of, like, want to go back and watch it, but when we talk about good writing, Sense8 was amazing. That one had good writing. And the directing was good. But there was something missing with Sense8. It was a good show, but there was definitely something missing. That's another show I never watched a finale of because I didn't want it to be over. I don't know if I will ever watch the finale of Sense8 because in my mind, if I don't finish it, then it's not done. You know what I'm saying? Some people I know the second season just as much, if not more, than the first season of Killing Eve. Yeah, and it's all about opinions, of course. Like, I have my opinions, and so other people are going to have different opinions to myself. But I just feel like my favorite season was season 1. And I felt like that was... Not just because it's my favorite, but I feel like it's the best season. Natalie Krill, that played Willa Earp, did a super gay movie that is a lesbian trash of storyline, but so hot. I know, I watched it. I don't even remember what the name of it was, though. That movie. I watched it, and she was terrible in that movie, too. She was terrible in it. The acting in that movie was so bad. I mean, I watched it because, like, I'm gay, and I love gay shit, but, like, it was so bad. She's not one of my favorite actresses, you know? Below Her Mouth, yes. That's what it was. That bath scene was so cringe. It was cringe. I'm sorry, but have you ever... I mean, this could be me, but, like, first of all, if I'm that horny, I am not gonna, like... I'm not gonna do that. That and I don't like baths, so maybe it's just a me thing, but I would never do something like that, because I'm like... The faucet, you get turned on by water? Like, I was so... And I think that's why it was so cringe, because I'm like, who would do that? I'm like, that's not even... Is it trying to turn me on? Because it's not turning me on right now. I don't know. Which bath scene? The one where she does stuff, the water does stuff to her. Talking Orphan Black, remember that link I sent you about the spinoff series Orphan Black Echoes due in 2023. They start filming tomorrow, so it should get set pics by end of summer. Did you send that to me? Because I thought I was looking for it, and I didn't know if I found it. Are you sure you sent that to me? Did you, like, message me or tag me in it? Because I don't think you ever sent it to me. Can you resend it to me? I don't know why I'm just scrolling down here like I'm going to find it. That was like from, I don't even know how long ago. Can you message it to me? I remember you telling me about it, and I'm like super, and I looked it up, and I was like, I'm super excited about it. Speaking of Once Upon a Time, season 1 wanted us to hate the evil queen, but the moment I saw her, I was in love. I mean, she is the inspiration behind the whole. Like, I am in love with Lana Parrilla. In love with her. I probably shouldn't say in love, because that doesn't, I mean, I'm not technically in love with her, but, like, I have such a massive crush on her. They queer baited so hard in that show. It was unreal. They were the first show that I really was like, damn, they're queer baiting. Like, really, like, because I'm like, you want characters to get together, but sometimes it's like, well, maybe they're like doing a little flirty thing, but like, it's kind of queer baiting, but not really, you know, like you can kind of see a little bit, but like Rizzoli and Isles, massive queer baiting. Once Upon a Time, massive queer baiting. Supergirl, massive queer baiting. Like, but one of the first ones that I'd seen was, well, I think I watched Once Upon a Time before I watched Rizzoli and Isles. So I think Once Upon a Time was the very first one where I was like, holy shit, are they queer baiting? Because I'm like, no way, they're going to put Emma Swan and the Evil Queen together. Because I'm like, oh my god, that would be so hot and like perfect. And then they didn't. And I'm like, fuck you. I know which bath scene you're talking about. I just meant that almost all the scenes in the bathroom were cringy. Oh, yeah, all of them. There was quite a few bath scenes, and they were all cringy. I remember, and I think it will always be burned into my brain, but, like, the scene with him and her, and I'm like, oh, God, gross. Anna would never watch that movie. Never. She would not be able to watch it because she doesn't like watching sex scenes. She doesn't like watching other people have sex, which is the complete opposite of me. But she doesn't like it, and so she would never fucking watch that show or movie. You looked it up while you were doing a live stream and read it out loud. That was a couple months ago. Oh, it was an article. I thought you sent me like a video or something. I was looking for a video. Never do it in the bath. I have OCD. I hate people that bath together and shower together. I think below her mouth was a shower head I don't know what that word is. WTF, so uncomfortable to watch. I'm not opposed to shower sex, but for me, because my pet peeve is I already don't like to be, and not in a sexual way. I just don't like to be wet. I don't like my body to be wet. And so, like, I can't stand baths. I'm always taking a shower. Like, usually I just take a shower once a day, but sometimes, depending on the time of month, I will take a bath twice a day. Because I'm a very, clean person. But, I don't take long showers because I don't like, I'm okay with it if the water's constantly hitting me, then I'm like not just standing there with like air and water on my body. It freaks me out. We talked about that one time in stream. Water, like being wet freaks me out. Anytime we go to the beach, I have to come right home. Like if people like, and that's if like I get in the water, but like if we end up going to have like dinner or brunch or something, like eating or doing something after we go to the beach, I'm like, no, I have to go home first. I can't sit in a restaurant in like my wet bathing suit. Like, gross. I don't know how people do it. I'm not judging. I don't know how they do. I don't know how you do it without freaking out. And then not to mention, like, you get cold. Rizzoli and Owls, it was so queer bait. And I watched the entire show. I was always like, now Jane is single. Mara, is it Mara? I just always like, they always called her Isles. Is it Mara? How the fuck do you say her Is it? I think it's Mara. Mara? I don't know. I'm second guessing myself. Is single. Kiss, kiss. I know. And then they both end up single at the end. And I'm like, what the hell? You'd rather have them just both be single than both be together? Dumb. I love how I have such respect for Angie Harmon because she is a very conservative woman, except for the fact that she does support gays. And so I'm like, well, that is different. And it makes me love you even more. Below Her Mouth is pretty much porn without a plot. Oh, pretty much. There is like no plot to that movie at all. I low-key ship Grace and Frankie. Oh, that show? I haven't seen it. I used to take a shower when I got caught in the rain. I think being caught... See, and the thing is, for me, if I get caught in the rain, I'm fine, because it's similar to a shower. But if it stops raining, and then now I'm, like, soaked, I have to immediately, like, go home, dry off, change, whatever. It's while the water is still hitting me, I'm fine. But, like, once the water is done hitting me and I'm just, like, just standing there, like, all wet and, like, and then the air is, like, freaks me out. When are you going to treat yourself to Bubba Gump Shrimp Company lunch and dinner? I don't know. We really don't go out that much. Especially now we're trying to, like, save up money. Rewatching The Vampire Diaries, I realized they had Caroline come out to her mom as a vampire twice, and I was like, you have a gay trope, but no gay characters until like season 7, then kill them off. I always want to rewatch Vampire Diaries, and then I go to like click on rewatching it, and then I'm like, no, I changed my mind. Every time, because it sounds good in theory, and then I start to watch it, and then I'm like, but I already know what happens, and this is kind of irritating because I know what happens. Sometimes some shows, like, I get irritated because I already know what's going to happen, but some shows I don't know. Very different. Oh my gosh, you have not seen Grace and Frankie. You have to watch it. It is so good, funny, smart. I heard it was really good. I just haven't watched it yet. Hi, baby. Hello. That show has smart writing and is LGBTQ friendly. It talks about ageism and friendship. Yeah, I think that, I mean, I have no problem with, like, ageism. As in, like, I mean, as long as they're all adults, of course, but, I don't see any problem with that. As long as everyone's adult, I have no problem with it. And it's so funny. Anytime I talk to, like, Anna or, like, I talk to a friend or something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that one lady is so hot. And they're like, ew, gross, Cassidy. She's like 80. And I'm like, is she? Well, first of all, she's not 80, but okay. It's just funny because everyone's like, ew, she's old. And I'm like, no. I don't know. If people are hot, then people are hot, you know? Queen's Jubilee in UK starting tomorrow for 4 days, as you probably know / heard, going to be a pain in the ass with traffic, etc. No, I have not heard. Oh, I have heard. I'm sorry. I have heard. It took me a minute to figure out what it was. Yes, I did. I'm sure that's going to be crazy. Sexuality in the golden years. Are you talking about Grace and Frankie? Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I wonder if it's, like, just as bad as, like, the royal weddings. With the traffic. Maybe it's worse. because then like more people are invited to her jubilee than the weddings. I'm trying to think what else is going on. Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin, they are 80 something and they are gilfs. That's funny. Well, Lily Tomlin is actually, she came out as a lesbian. Or queer. She came out as something. She's a part of the LGBTQ community. I'm pretty sure it was I'm pretty sure she came out as a lesbian. I could be wrong though. Do you think Vecna/1 is going to go on into season 5? Maybe I could see them creating like more storyline for Vecna. I could see that. If he's not, because I think he's a pretty badass villain. So I feel like they could. I just don't know, because like now we know his whole backstory. And if they, okay, and so the other thing is we have 2 episodes left. So we have to think, we have 2 episodes left. Are they really going to be able to defeat him in 2 episodes? And really, if we think about it, it's really like 4 episodes because of how long these episodes are. Which you can't put into effect. Okay, so technically, we have to probably assume that Jim and Joyce are not going to be helping out with the Vecna situation, at least by episode 8. Like, so they're probably not going to be able to help out until probably episode 9, but they don't know jack shit about Vecna, right? So, I think, like, a lot of people just kind of, they, like, forget about Jim and Joyce and how they don't know jack shit about Vecna. So, I could see Vecna being the villain still in season 5. Because he's a crazy-ass villain. I don't know how you could probably do crazier than him. Ending the season off with a crazy-ass villain. Probably. Like, if now that I'm, like, talking and thinking out loud, unless they somehow come up, which they could come up with a crazier villain, but, like, you have to end off with a crazy villain and some crazy-ass fights. I could totally see them carrying Vecna into season 5 and having Vecna still be the villain in season 5. My only thing is like, now we know his backstory, but, like, so now the future is gonna be, or, like, these next 2 episodes and potentially season 5 is gonna be, like, present, and then how they're, like, trying to defeat Vecna. So I think he will probably end up being the actual villain in season 5, because mainly because I think what's making me lean more towards that fact is because Jim and Joyce aren't even a part of the whole Upside Down right now in this season, because Jim got pretty much kidnapped and they're in Russia right now. So you have 2 and really 3, because of Murray, 3 main characters who aren't a part of this massive villain. So, and I feel like they have to be a part of the major villain. So I don't know if they're gonna, because not only do Jim and Joyce also have to get back in time, but somebody has to fill them in. But if they go back to California, no one's gonna be in California, because Mike and Will and Jonathan are all on their way to L. And we don't know where the hell L is right now, like, the location-wise. So, there's that. So, Jim and Joyce have to travel back to California. And then somebody's got to fill them in on the whole situation, which theoretically could somehow happen in the last 2 episodes of this season. But I just feel like, hopefully, like, maybe that it could rush it. And then another thing is like, sorry, I'm, like, spiraling. But, like, the length of the episodes, these last 2 episodes, there's so much that can happen in these last 2 episodes. I really don't know. I think that they could, though. He's a big villain, and I could see them ending the show with a big villain like him. Sorry. Oh, that was a long answer to the question. Not saying grannies are hot, but they are like really fit for 80 somethings. Wish I could be like that at 80 plus. Lily Tomlin is a lesbian. Okay, that's what I thought. Maybe there will be a fight between the Mind Flayer / Vecna in season 5. Yeah, they have 2 episodes left, which you could agree with me should have been split into 2 episodes for episode 9. I mean, it's so long. Okay, so normally what I say for or at least what I've said so far with season 4 is I don't understand in the beginning why they do things, but then after I've watched it, then I'm like, okay, this makes sense. So especially like the splitting up the seasons into 7 episodes and then 2 episodes, like I totally, after watching it, I completely understand it. But in the beginning, I was like, why would they do 7 and 2? It just doesn't make sense. So I'm thinking that it'll make sense for episode 9 to be the full 2.5 hours. I mean, I think we saw something online where it said there was a moment within the episode that they could have ended the episode there and then made it into another episode. But I don't know. They probably did it for a reason. So I trust them. Are we 100% sure that Mind Flayer is alive? Or is he dead? Like, because technically we saw him die, but then, like, they're from the Upside Down, and I feel like nothing really dies in the Upside Down. I think he needed to be because he is... Wait, who? What were we talking about? I think he needed to be because he is the start, but the Mind Flayer is the biggest, baddest. Well, yeah, I mean, they even said that, like, Dustin said, he made the comment, like, the Mind Flayer is the baddest of the bad, and the Demogorgon was a soldier, and Vecna is his general. Like, I get that, but, like, I'm talking, like, badassery, more so than, like, who's the baddest. Like, I'm thinking, like, crazy, like, all out, like, I get that the Mind Flayer is, like, the boss, the head honcho, but I feel like Vecna is more badass and crazy, and, like, he just overall plays a better villain for me. Cher's in her 70s and would still do her for a few good hours. I love Cher so much. She's my favorite singer. 9 days for first kill, season 1 to be released. I know, I'm super excited about it. Mind Flayer is alive, as was shown in the tank for teaser for volume 2 when Hopper looks in the tank. Okay, sure. I mean, honestly, anything can happen with this show, and I'm not, I mean, I might question it, but I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna be like, holy shit. They could end season 4 the way Supergirl ended their season 3 mid-season finale. I don't know how that ended, because I didn't watch it. Holy crap. Oh, and Legacies is coming back. Legacies is coming back on Thursday. So we're ending Stranger Things. Let's see, tomorrow's going to be episode 6. So 7 goes out Friday. And then Legacies is going out Saturday. And then after that, I think, after that's The Boys. Yep. The Boys, and then after The Boys is First Kill. And then Motherland Fort Salem. So excited about that. And Umbrella Academy. And then after that, Stranger Things Part 2. I cannot wait for Part 2. I'm so excited. Supergirl season 3 mid-season finale ended with the big bad of that season beating Supergirl so hard she put her in a coma. Oh, dang. Just got news on and said about another gun shooting, but in Tulsa, but this time at a hospital, and the shooter has been shot dead by the police. Jeez. Crazy. Speaking of craziness, did you see that the Depp and Amber Heard verdict? Anna and I watched that verdict live. Do you still think Max could get powers? Maybe. I could see it being a possibility, but I don't know if it's too outrageous. Like, how? How would she get powers? Would it be powers like Elle? Because Elle goes through a lot to get her powers and to make them, like, to where she's at right now. So, could Max be able to tap into similar powers? Or, like, is that what we mean by powers? Or do we mean something else? Because that's the only thing why I could see, if she does get powers, it would be similar to Elle's. But I feel like you have to go through a lot of training to get those powers. I mean, that's the whole thing of, like, Elle's story, is she has to go through all of the training to get the powers. So, I don't know if Max does get them, she'll get them by accident. I feel like. I could be wrong, though. When is Fort Salem coming back? 21st, I believe. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, June 21st. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I think they both had a twisted relationship. Who? Oh, Johnny Depp and Heard. The thing is she's just a freaking liar. She's just a liar. She tried to destroy his life, and I'm glad that it didn't work out. I mean, it kind of did. I think his career will always kind of be damaged, but I think he'll be able to get back to work. As in, for her, I don't think she will be. I think she's going to find it very difficult to find work. I think they had a toxic relationship, and I'm not saying that he wasn't, like, like, innocent and all that, but I don't think he did all the things that she said he did. Glad Johnny won the court case. That Amber Heard is one very unstable bitch. Oh, yeah. For sure. Still think Johnny at some point hit Amber because he was on drugs. I mean, we don't know that, though. To be honest, I don't think we'll ever really know what happens behind closed doors. But I think for the most part, she's lied about like 95 or 99% of the shit, and she's been caught lying, and it didn't really work out for her. But she also hit and trashed him. I mean, she has had, the thing with her is that she's been abusive in the past to partners. I mean, she's even gotten arrested for it. I mean, there's proof that she's been abusive to past partners. Him, there isn't. Not saying that he still couldn't do that, but, like, I don't know. Anyway, there's so many great things coming out this month. Yeah, because only a batshit crazy poops in the bed. That was weird. Like, why would you fucking take a shit in the bed? Like, what? Ay, ay, ay. fucking crazy. She's crazy, though. And she's not a good actress. So it, like, just made it so much worse for her. But anyway, I'm glad it's over. Because, like, that was all that was on Twitter, or, not Twitter, TikTok and YouTube and, like, all that, you know? But anywho's, like I said, we're gonna finish Stranger Things this week. Legacies is coming back, and then we're starting The Boys. Hopefully, I can get The Boys done by Wednesday. I think there's 8 episodes, so we'll see if I can get it done. I don't know if I'll be able to get the full thing done by next stream of The Boys, because I need to record Legacies Friday morning, and then The Boys Saturday, Sunday, and then I might be able to get it done. It'll be very close. It'll either be like I didn't get the last episode in, or I'll get the last episode in before I stream. But they were both on drugs and alcohol. We will never know. No, I don't think we will. I don't think we'll ever really know. She's been like, she's flat out, like, we know she's admitted to hitting him. She's admitted to being abusive to him. And then she tries to backtrack herself, and then she lies and, like, all that. So she's gotten caught, and that was her downfall. Amber had the audacity to think she was as good as Zendaya. Nuh-uh. She wishes. She doesn't even have half the talent that Zendaya does. No. No. Sorry. Zendaya's amazing. Sorry. But anywho, Stranger Things and Legacies and The Boys. And then so much more coming in June. I'm so happy. And then hopefully we figure out what's going to happen with Warrior Nun by next stream too. Because somebody did tell me that we're supposed to be getting some sort of news of something on the 6th. So fingers crossed we do. When is the 6th? Monday. So hopefully we get some sort of news on Warrior Nun. Can't freaking wait for that. But they both need, like, intense treatment. I think most people need intense treatment. But that's my opinion. But anywho's, I think that's it for me today. But I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Hopefully I can get done with The Boys so that we can talk about it. My knee. But like I said, so many other things coming out in June that I'm so excited for. But anyway, I will see you guys next Wednesday. And I'm on Twitter other than being live. So if you ever want to try to reach out to me, that's where I'm at. But anywho's, I will see you guys next Wednesday. Bye, guys.